All right, man. So for your University of Utah, we have spring camp that opens up on March 20th. Forever 22 game is March 20. No, is it March 22nd? No, it's on a different day. It's not on March 22nd.
That would be cool, though. The Forever
Yeah.
22 game on March 22nd would be absolutely epic.
2 days into camp, probably not happening.
Yeah, that would be really strange. Also,
That would be very strange. Now we do have 35 new players that are showing up on this roster that are new to this team that were not there, which is a huge number, AJ.
yeah,
That is large.
it's massive.
And we need to have those players kind of be more acclimated. And I think that's going to be the key for spring camp here. But with that said, what are you expecting to see from this team coming out of spring camp for our boys up on the hill on the offensive side?
Yeah, I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's pretty clear. What we need to do is we need to get that offense installed, and we got to get everyone on the same page as quickly as possible, right? And in a best case scenario, you'd really hope that Devin Dampier can find a receiver that he's got a ton of chemistry with.
Right.
Last season, we saw him and Ryan Davis right out the gate. They connected. He knew where he was going. He knew where he was going to be. Every time he threw it to Ryan Davis, he was sure-handed enough that you just knew something good was going to happen. And I do feel like the guy that could be that, that go-to receiver is Brandon Pegan. He's the Utah State transfer that came over with the offensive coordinator.
Right.
So I think he's going to be most familiar with that offensive scheme. He's got good size, 6'3". He was first team All-Mountain West last year. This is a player that I think I could see Devin Dampier kind of zeroing in on and be like, this might be my guy right here. This might be the one that I know where he's going to be. He understands the offensive schemes.
Just get open. I'll get you.
Get open. I'll get you the ball. Absolutely. So as far as the running back room on offense, it's pretty much locked down, right? I mean, we know Wayshawn Parker's the guy, and he's going to be the first option out of the backfield until somebody proves otherwise. This dude's too talented. He's just that guy. He's got NFL hopes and dreams. He's going to head that direction. So it'll be fun to see who else gets some of those reps with a couple of really talented guys, coming in, and then a couple of guys, talented guys returning. Mm-hmm. So I think the biggest question mark on this offense is going to be the offensive line. And we got to build cohesion on this offensive line as soon as possible. We've got some talented guys coming in. We got transfers, Isaiah Kima from Ohio State, Cedric Jefferson, who transferred in from Montana State. And I do believe Kevin Obot. Well, I mean, I think he'll be a starter on that offensive line to start the season.
Sure.
So
yeah,
it's going to be anchored. We got senior Alex Harrison, junior Keith Olson. Both these guys had a lot of reps in game activity last year. So those guys are going to be the anchors. They got to show it. But I love Jordan Gross as the offensive line coach. He had a great quote where he said he wants his players to play clear-headed, aggressive, and confident. Such a cool line from an offensive coordinator who really doesn't think that he deserved this job. He was a head coach for a high school, and it was really cool to hear him talk about when Morgan Scalley called him. He said he made it clear that I was the guy, and I think it goes to show how much confidence, the new coach under the big headset has him in
Pat Penning. T-shirt coming. T-shirt coming.
Dude, that's exactly what we need as a T-shirt. You're absolutely right. But the new coach under the big set has in him to keep the legacy alive, right? This is a school that continues to put offensive line talent into the NFL. And, Jordan Gross is the next guy to kind of keep coaching and moving that shit forward.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. You got to love it. And there's no better man that's a Utah guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you got Morgan Scalley, who's been part of this program for over 2 decades, the one tapping you on the shoulder and saying, "Hey,"
and he played with Jordan Gross. They were on the same. They were on the same team. Yeah, they were teammates for the Utes in 2000 and 2002.
I didn't know that, dude.
That's really cool, right?
That's very cool. So that's the guy who understands it, right, and gets it, right.
Absolutely.
It's all about the right people, and then this right scheme, and then the right players. And everything will just kind of fall into place.
Yeah. So what do you think about defense, though? Like, where do you think the Utes need to shore it up on defense this year?
So obviously with, Morgan Scalley taking over the big headset, right? Being underneath the big headset as the head coach. Exactly. Their overall philosophy of, smart, tough, relentless is going to remain kind of that standard philosophy and the main, scheme of the program. But look forward to Colton Swan.
By the way, it's RSNB. Relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks. That's the Morgan Scalley code for defense.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently that didn't make it in the article.
You just missed a couple letters, was all.
Those just didn't make it in the article, man. though.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. That's his thing.
warning.
RSNB.
RSNV.
NB.
And B.
Yeah. Relentless, smart, nasty ball hawk.
I like it. But so we got Colton Swan coming in as a new defensive coordinator for this team, and he's going to be wanting to put his own stamp on the defense and really kind of see what these young players that are coming into the program can really do.
Yeah.
And I think those two kind of coalesce with each other, right?
Absolutely.
So he stated that his focusing is going to be on creating havoc plays, which is basically creating more sacks and turnover plays to support this new look offense.
You got to.
Yeah. So starting with, let's start with quarterbacks. Sorry, not quarterbacks, cornerbacks.
Cornerbacks.
Last
That makes
time
more
I
sense
checked,
on defense.
Hey, if we need Devin Dampier back there.
Absolutely. I bet you he'd suit it up, dude. He's that guy.
He would do it.
He's that guy.
So starting at cornerback, let's talk about their depth there. So Elijah Reed, he's a transfer from Akron. He had 47 tackles last year, 2 interceptions, and he also forced a fumble. He's going to get a good chance to compete for some serious playing time in spring and also fall, along with junior college transfer Brandon Holmes. Now, Utes have a lot of returning talent on this side of things with Scooby Davis, Rock Caldwell, as well as Jason Stokes Jr. and J.C. Hart. So I really want to see how these this is one of those situations where you got cornerback, you got returning players, but you also have the players that are coming in. They're going to be like highly touted. You're really going to want to see them kind of build out that cohesion, see how they're going to take advantage of this.
Because it's all about how you work together on that defensive unit.
Yeah.
Right? It's knowing that he's going this way and I'm going that way, and you're making the right read to make sure your coverage, you don't lose coverage on somebody. We got some smart guys that are coming in that have played, maybe not at the highest level of college football, but they were the best player at their school. Right. And that's the reason they get the chance to come to the U, because if you come to the U and play defensive back, you got a chance to go to the NFL.
And there's a chance to go to the NFL, but there's also a standard of requirement for this team.
Absolutely.
This team is known for its relentless defense.
Yeah.
Regardless of who's the defensive coordinator, that's been their line since, Witt was a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Right? So that's been like their tagline. So you come to this school, you're expected to perform a certain way, not only in the locker room, but on the field as well. And I really looking forward to see what Elijah Reed can do, as well as the JC JUCO transfer there, Brandon Holmes, to see how they acclimate and see if they compete for some time for some reps in spring and fall.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to see.
If they show up in spring, I'd like to see how they do in fall.
Yeah.
See how that all kind of shakes out, right? The most significant change, of course, on the defensive side is going to be the defensive line, where Utah is replacing all 3 of their main defensive tackles from last season.
Yeah.
So we got interior rotation. We've got Carson Kafusi, as well as Pipu Sepulana. I'm close, right? Sepulana. I've heard it both ways. Just kidding. No, only the way he said it. They're going to be the primary returners, expected to take most of the reps there, but also have the greatest leap forward, right?
Yeah.
These are joining. They're also being joined by key transfers. Lucas Samsula.
Dude, you nailed it.
Apparently still age there. Lucas Samsula from Wyoming.
Yeah.
And also Jira Moe, who is a San Jose State transfer to rebuild that 4 deep rotation in that spot. We also have the edge rushers, of course. You have Utah that has a strong continuity here. You have Lance Holtzclaw as well as Cash Dillon returning. But spring will determine how they integrate, the new transfer, Ethan Day, who's a 250-pound edge, who will probably provide more physical presence in that rotation. He had 53 tackles for an average of 4.5 sacks in 2025. These are the notes that I'm getting from interviews with the Utah staff prior to spring camp.
And I really like Lance Holtzclaw. He's a Washington transfer.
Yep.
Didn't play a whole lot last year, but when he was in there, he was an impact player. But the problem was he's playing behind John Henry Daly, who transferred to Michigan with Coach Witt, and then Logan Fano, who's heading to the NFL.
Right.
So
more on him later.
He had some depth. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing is he was in there. He's going to have a chance to show it. And Lance Holtzclaw, he's like one of the funnest players to watch. If you watch any of his socials, and I highly recommend it, this guy is a character. He's super fun to watch. He's really funny on all of his social media stuff. And
Nice.
he's like, they do a lot of interviews with him and stuff because he's so outgoing, and he's a really fun player. And he's really talented. And if he can have a knockout season this year, he's got a chance to play in the league next year too.
It really kind of puts a damper on the whole fact that like press is not welcome at practice last year, pretty much at all. We'll see how that shakes out this year. I know there's been rumors that there hasn't been any passes issued for practice.
And it's really interesting because with the transfer portal, they closed that second window, right? Because there's only the December window now. Now players are still allowed to unenroll and re-enroll at schools. But that's not the recommended route, right? It's not as easy. They're not making it as easy as it was last year to just jump in the portal after a spring practice and they get the standard 2 deep. So it'll be really interesting to see how players, do that this year and how the transfer classes kind of look after spring.
And that would really mess with your NIL chances.
Absolutely.
If you did something like last year. So yeah, that makes sense. Also linebackers, I mean, that's projected to be, the starters are projected there to be Jonathan Hall and Trey Reynolds, focusing there on mostly about communication and developing their read and react skills. This is something that came from Colton Swan on an interview. These are the skills that they want to develop for an up-tempo type offense that they're going to see a lot in practice. So they want to kind of identify those read and react skills because whether you're on a high-tempo offense or not, having the ability to read and react to your offense is going to be, a positive either way. So that's kind of what they're focusing there with the linebackers.
And this is a tough one to replace because you had Lander Barton, who was so good in that position at linebacker.
So good, dude.
But at the tail end of this season, you saw John O'Hall come out and he played a lot of snaps, and you were like, it seemed like the further the season progressed, John O'Hall was in more and more plays where you're like, this dude's making a difference. So it's really good to get him back at that linebacker spot, knowing he's got some experience. He can kind of help coach the next guy, and hopefully he's the next great linebacker in the NFL from the University of Utah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I 100% agree. Before we move on, and we talk a little bit about the NFL Combine, which is something I want to get into.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, I want to quickly give a shout out to the Utes softball team.
Oh, really?
Yes. So the Utes softball team are in the midst of a 11-game winning streak.
That is very impressive.
They are in second place in the division behind Texas Tech, who's only lost 1 game, and they've just been killing it out there. So nice job, ladies. Great job.
Absolutely. Shout out Utah softball.
Great job. Great job.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure we made a note of that. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the NFL Combine, because we had a couple of players. We have about 4 or 5 that we want to highlight there that went into the Combine this year. We want to kind of react a little bit to how they did.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first player that we got is really Lander Barton. And we were just talking about him as far as the linebacker position, that he was so skilled and he did such a good job. Bleacher Report has him graded as a 6.6, which really lists him as like a role player, part-time contributor. They listed him as a 4th-round pick. This guy's better than that. And it's funny because a lot of these Utah players end up getting drafted, and their draft stock doesn't look as great, and then teams get them, and it's like a year or 2 later, and you see them in the starting rotation, and they're just always out there making a difference. So I think Lander Barton is one of those guys that's going to get an opportunity. He'll be drafted for sure.
Okay.
And when he gets drafted, you'll see him on an NFL roster somewhere.
So that's one. That's one we're putting our stamp on. The Utah football DNA stamp of approval.
Approval. Boom.
Will get drafted.
Yeah, and I'll put something on the screen like a bam.
Yeah,
approved.
good luck with that. Glad you're editing that video. But yeah, so the next one we wanted to highlight there is going to be, I wanted to make sure Spencer Fano is who I wanted to highlight there. His performance is highlighted by a 4.91 second 40-yard dash, which is second fastest among all offensive linemen, by the way. He had a height of 9.76 and relative athletic score, which is RAS. I have no idea what that means, dude.
No idea.
Like, I've watched so many of these combine tapes. I'm like, I don't know what that is. But again, 10-yard split. He had a 1.72 seconds on a 10-yard split. His vertical jump is over 30 inches. His broad jump is over 9.3 or 9.7, depending on which source you're using.
Depending on which stat you read, yeah.
Yeah, some of it's from the NFL.com, some of it's from 24/7 Sports. But yeah, again, this guy 6'5", 311 pounds or 321 pounds. Again, depending on if you're measuring with pads or not. This guy is legit, man. Top performer, ranked first in the combine, score of 91 among all offensive tackles by Next Gen Stats. Yeah, dude, this guy is just absolutely legit.
Yeah, he's a first round pick. I would be surprised if he makes it out of the top 10. You will have the opportunity to watch our guy Spencer Fano play NFL football next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Displayed natural movement, balance, and quickness over all fields. Draft stock again. So the potential to a high riser due to his athleticism, but one of the notes is a note short arm length that could cause him to fall. Short arm length.
And it's funny because I can picture nothing but a Tyrannosaurus Rex just like trying to like wearing football pads and just like,
yeah, like what's the deal? Like, okay,
this dude dominated college football all year long.
So explain that to me. Is it kind of like the longer reach you have, the more like Rudy Gobert setting the screen type block thing is what they're looking for? Maybe
that's got to be it. I mean, that's the only thing that I can think is like with your arms out, you can get more leverage. Maybe
Bro's 311 pounds, dude. Just because like he's right here versus here, is it just that extra? I don't know. The short arm thing is kind of seems like you're grasping at straws to say something negative, in my opinion.
Yeah, like they're just trying. And what's really funny is his brother Logan Fano is the next one on the list. And Bleacher Report has him graded at a 5.8, which shows him as like a backup draftable player. Could be taken in the 6th to 7th round. Logan Fano was good, but he didn't have a great season for Utah. He's going to the draft because his brother's going to the draft. They said they wanted to do it together. They came to Utah together. But as funny as it is, his draft, his downsides is also short arm. So apparently that runs in the family.
No kidding.
Yeah, Tyrannosaurus Fano is apparently what's going on here. So
well said.
I think Logan Fano's got a real chance to be drafted. But of the 5 players we're about to discuss, he's probably the one that won't get taken. And I could see him signing an undrafted free agent contract somewhere.
Which is actually, depending on where you're drafted, is kind of preferable.
Absolutely, because then you have the chance to kind of choose. I mean, if he doesn't get drafted, he could choose to go play with his brother if that's what he wants to do, right? If he gets an offer from that team.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that. That usually kind of, unless you're in the NBA and the Morris brothers, but yeah, no, I don't know. I would not be shocked if he doesn't sneak in the draft.
Right.
Yeah, but if he doesn't, like I said, it's almost a benefit for him to not be drafted, depending on where he's drafted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you there. So up next we have on my list here we actually have Utah tackle Caleb Lemieux.
Lomu.
What did I say?
Lemieux.
I've heard it both ways.
I love that. Heard it both ways.
Heard it both ways. Anyway, he impressed well at the combine for sure. He highlighted with a 4.99 40. He had a 32.5 vertical inch leap, 9.5 broad jump. They're mentioned here. Deseret News, his elite athleticism and movement skills solidified his status as a top tier offensive tackle prospect, with many analysts placing him as a potential first round. Yeah, I like it.
There's a very low chance he's there in the second round. This guy will be taken. He's really talented. He did a great job blocking all season. You look at the time Devin Dampier had to make some of these plays and some of the ridiculous stuff that he did. It's because he had 2 first round prospects blocking for him.
For sure. But the most important thing here is the stat that is driving this whole conversation. Right?
Absolutely.
He is his projected trait is long-armed, agile tackle with excellent movement skills.
That matters.
No Tyrannosaurus Rex arms.
No, Caleb Lomu has normal, preferable sized arm length for the NFL.
Yeah, love to see it.
Absolutely great. The next guy we have is Dallin Bentley. He's the tight end for Utah. NFL.com has him listed as a 5.8 ranking, which shows him as an average backup special teamer. He's rated as a 15th ranked tight end in the class. This puts him late 6th, 7th round. Another guy, I think he blocks better than some of the draft grades that I saw really gave him credit for. They said that he struggles to make blocks and then get off of them to run his routes. I think Dallin Bentley did a really good job. If you see him in some of the run blocking schemes, he does a good job setting a solid edge and great hands for a tight end. That was one thing that is in his draft grade is he has soft hands and, has a low percentage of missing catchable passes. So he's a great pass catcher. We'll see Dallin Bentley in the NFL next year.
Nice. So that puts us 4 out of 5 that we reviewed that we are putting our Utah football DNA stamp on. That's going to be getting drafted.
That's correct.
And even the 5th player is probably going to be in a better position if he doesn't get drafted.
Exactly. Yeah. Logan Fano is probably the only one that's kind of borderline, and I think he's going to make an NFL roster somewhere.
You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Once again, folks, we did just launch a channel specifically for your Utah football called Utah Football DNA. If you're watching this on our live stream or you're listening to this on our podcast after the fact, a link to Utah Football DNA will be in the description down below. If you're following us specifically for our Utah football content, be sure to check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Smash a like for us for some engagement. We really appreciate it. We'll be doing some maybe a ticket giveaway for this once with this channel.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you get 1,000 subscribers on the channel. We'll be giving we'll be doing a ticket giveaway.
Yeah, I like it.
It'll be his season tickets, by the way.
Whatever we got to do, just hit that subscribe button.
Love it.